Line my cigarettes, loaded with regret.
Audiophiles come in all types. You've got the up-and-coming who are blown away by the improvements a simple $60 DAC has over their PC sound card. Then there's the seasoned audiophile who has a good idea what type of gear they prefer and like to experiment within reason. And finally, there are those who like premium stuff. These audiophiles have a certain demand for aesthetics, function, and sound. And they buy audio gear most people wouldn't even seriously think about. WU Audio is an American amplifier manufacturer. They've been around for a while and make some expensive gear. Their cheapest option is a $600 tube amplifier, and their most expensive is a $16,000 amplifier. WU Audio makes mostly desktop amps, but they do have two portable options. Their first is the WA8 Eclipse, a portable tube headphone amplifier and DAC that sounds like butter. But WU wanted to make a solid-state version and recently came out with the WA11 Topaz. The Topaz is currently on sale on the WU Audio website for just shy of $1,300. Who is this product aiming at, and is it even worth purchasing? I'm a fan of WU Audio. My first WU product was the WA7 Fireflies, a remarkable tube amp that is among my favorite amplifiers of all time. I also have the WA8 Eclipse, and I purchased the WA11 Topaz. You could say that my sonic tastes coincide with WU Audio's tuning. So, you might think that I am going to recommend the $1,300 Topaz. Not exactly. Here's the thing, the Topaz is a gorgeous portable amplifier. It's stealth black, sleek, fairly robust yet light, and does exactly what it's supposed to do. The Topaz has no frills. You get high and low gain and USB DAC or line-in switches. There's a very smooth turning metal knob and 1/4 inch and 4.4mm Pentagon headphone jacks. The Topaz has two USB ports, one for charging and the other for DAC functionality. You don't get filters or Bluetooth or Wi-Fi or anything else a modern audiophile might want. The Topaz has LEDs showing the battery level, but no LEDs to show volume level. Heck, the $1,300 Topaz doesn't even come with a hardshell protective case, unlike the Eclipse. But what the Topaz lacks in features, it tries to make up for in sound. The Topaz has the ESS9018M DAC, which is also used in the WA7 and the WA8. WU Audio says that this is a reference DAC, and I'm convinced that's not accurate. A DAC is reference when it provides the original audio recording without coloration. If you color the sound, then you're adding or taking something away. The Topaz adds smoothness to every single track and elevates the bass just slightly. The treble is not detailed as it is in more neutral DACs. This has been my experience with the WA7 and the WA8, and frankly, I'm not surprised I've had the same result with the WA11, considering they all use the same DAC. Out of the three devices, however, the Topaz is the most neutral. If you had to choose the most reference sound signature out of the WA7, the WA8, and the WA11, I tell you to pick the WA11, but only amongst those three competitors. For my initial listening test, I plugged the Topaz into my PC and played tracks over Amazon Music HD. I used the Sennheiser HD800S and audeze LCD2 closed. The 800S is a 300 ohm headphone. The LCD2 closed is 70 ohms. I plugged both into the 1/4 inch jack. WU Audio provides maximum power output numbers but does not say if those change whether you use balanced or unbalanced. The Topaz absolutely needs to be in high gain to power both of these headphones. On low gain, the 800S has narrow soundstage and lacks detail. The LCD2 closed on low gain has muddy bass. Moreover, both headphones barely get loud on low gain, even with the volume knob turned to the max. On high gain, both headphones seem to get sufficient power for their respective drivers. The Sennheiser HD800S has some sharp treble along with its ultra-wide soundstage. The Topaz on high gain allowed the wide soundstage to come through, but it also rolled off the treble. With analytical amp DACs, the 800S can be exhausting. But on the Topaz, the 800S retained its characteristic soundstage but was much less fatiguing to listen to. The Topaz added some bass boost and treble roll-off. What I got was a slightly warmer sounding 800S. The LCD2 closed was also affected. On the Topaz, the LCD2 had slower bass decay and the bass melded slightly with the mids. The LCD2 closed is not particularly good at detail retrieval to begin with. However, the Topaz combo made the LCD2 sound slightly less detailed. The Topaz affected these headphones differently, as you would naturally expect. The 800S deals with the sound signature better than the LCD2 closed, mostly because the 800S is such an analytical headphone to begin with. Adding a bit of warmth to the 800S is not a bad thing. However, adding warmth to an already warm-sounding headphone like the LCD2 closed is not so flattering. I compared the Topaz to the topping NX4, a device that is almost $1,100 cheaper. Once again, both headphones required the NX4 to be in high gain to sufficiently power the drivers. It was apparent that the NX4 was able to easily drive the 800S and the LCD2 closed. Despite the significantly smaller size, the NX4 provided overwhelming volume to the LCD2 and the 800S. In contrast, I felt I couldn't get the LCD2 loud enough on the Topaz, even on high gain. Now, this was a strange experience. Switching back and forth between the Topaz and the NX4 on both headphones, I had the distinct impression that the NX4 combo sounded louder or clearer. I kept skipping tracks and albums to figure out what was happening. The Topaz is supposed to provide 350 milliwatts into 100 ohms. The NX4 provides 293 milliwatts at 32 ohms and 114 milliwatts at 300 ohms, so I have no idea how much power it is giving to the LCD2. But theoretically, the Topaz should easily outdrive the NX4. However, that's not really what I heard. After further listening, I realized what was happening. The NX4 has a more neutral sound signature and does not muddy the LCD2's frequency response. The NX4 paired to the 800S sounded neutral, though the 800S did have sharper treble response. The Topaz, on the other hand, added a smoothing effect that masks some details on both headphones and to different degrees. The volume differences between the NX4 and the Topaz weren't really the issue. Instead, what I heard were clear differences in, well, clarity. When I listened to vocals, it felt like the LCD2 wasn't getting enough power from the Topaz, but in reality, the colored sound signature that Topaz provides made the vocals sound recessed in comparison to the NX4. I was initially disappointed with this, but the more I listened to the Topaz on the LCD2 closed, the more I got used to the sound, and the more I became accustomed to the Topaz's sound signature, and the more I started to appreciate its softer approach to music. I don't think that the LCD2 closed is a good pairing with the Topaz, however. The Sennheiser HD800S gains some benefits on the other hand. The slight bump in the bass and the rolled off treble makes the 800S much easier to listen to. But you lose the character of both headphones on the Topaz, for better or worse. Both headphones are excellent when left to neutral DAC amps. When their personalities are colored by something like the WA11, these headphones lose their unique sonic signatures. Woo Audio, by the way, shows the Topaz paired with the Sony MDR-Z1R, which is what I used next. The Z1R is a 64 ohm headphone, and on high gain, the Topaz provided plenty of power for the drivers. The Z1R are generally considered a darker sounding headphone, but the Topaz did not make the Z1R sound all that much darker. Instead, the pairing allowed just a bit of extra decay to the bass, yet the mids remained fairly clear. The Topaz added a slight amount of smoothing to the entire frequency, but it never sounded muddy. Using my Heart audio cable kit, which I highly recommend, I switched the Z1R from 1/4 inch to 4.4mm Pentacon. I didn't notice any difference in power output from the jacks, nor did I hear any difference in sound. Frankly, the Z1R sounded the most dynamic of the three headphones I tested on the Topaz. The combo provided a very deep bass response, smooth mids, and slightly rolled off treble that seemed to support the Z1R's signature. I cannot say that the Topaz was made with the Z1R in mind, but it is evident that some headphones will sound better than others. Then again, this is an individual personal experience, and my dislike of the LCD2 and Topaz pairing could be the perfect one for somebody else. I must say there is something rather unique, challenging, and rewarding in the Topaz. When you use neutral amp DACs, a lot of headphones simply work fine. In other words, you can plug nearly any headphone into the NX4 or the RME80i2 DAC or the 789 for great results. But the Topaz doesn't seem to be that type of amp DAC. It's not a multi-tool, but rather a specialty tool. It doesn't seem to pair well with some headphones, popular headphones at that. Nonetheless, the Topaz offers something unique. It's uniquely expensive for starters, but it also boldly provides the woo audio sound signature. This is not the ubiquitous neutral DAC amp that every other manufacturer keeps spitting out year after year. The Topaz is monstrously expensive, but if this is your type of thing, then don't be disappointed if it doesn't sound perfect with the first headphones you try. Like with any specialized tool, you gotta know when to use it. The Topaz needs to be put through its paces. It is an expensive piece of gear. You can buy some really nice headphones, or many nice headphones, for the price of one WA11 Topaz. This amp DAC is not for everyone. It's got a particular sound signature that is appealing, but definitely not for those who want true neutral. And some headphones like the 800S and the LCD2 Close simply lose their unique sound signatures when paired with the Topaz. The Z1R pairing was pleasing, and I'm sure there are other headphones that will make a great combo as well. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with the Topaz. It's built really well. It is simple to operate. It's got a smooth sound. It is dead silent and has no channel imbalance. But at nearly $1,300, it is Caviar at the football party. Everybody brought beers, and Caviar doesn't really pair well with beer. I will continue to listen to the Topaz and use other headphones in this review process. This device deserves a thorough examination and a thorough review. Hell, good Caviar on Ritz crackers can still be good.